Sup, I'm MAD1 and welcome to my channel where I show videos I find interesting. Let's get into it.
Mark Zuckerberg? Really strange. This 19-year-old guy drops out from Harvard and founds Facebook, okay? And now he's a billionaire. How does that happen, guys? Well, it must be the American dream. Oh, ChatGPT, guys. Really strange. If you have a dream and you just follow it, you can become a billionaire in America. Yeah. It's all just a scam, right? Google, it's all just a scam, okay? What you need to understand about these companies is they were all founded with US military technology that is public, okay? The internet, it's a US military technology. Google, these search engines, it's all US military technology. And they were given to these guys for free. Why would they do that? Okay, again, if you think that we're ruled by secret societies, and it's really secret societies that control the world, and they want this technology out there to better surveil people, it makes a lot more sense, right? Because if the Pentagon said, hey, with this free computer that you can use, you'd be like, I'm not gonna use this computer because you'll spy on me, right? But if Mark Zuckerberg says, hey, free Facebook, guys, you wanna use it? You're like, yeah, sure, Facebook, yeah. He's a dork from Harvard, of course he can be trusted.
The hardcore thing is that there is a extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that sect. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers. And that's how we're mentioned in the document. That religion was specifically created so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the container.
1979, this guy Thomas Ogle built a car engine that got 100 miles on 1 gallon. No fuel injection, just vapor. He said no to millions just to keep his idea. Months later, dude was poisoned at 24. His blueprints, gone. But here's the thing, he wasn't the only one. Nikola Tesla wanted to give everyone free wireless energy. When investors figured out they couldn't make money off it, they pulled out. After he died, feds seized all his research. Most of it still hasn't been released. Stanley Meyer said he built a car that ran purely on water, no gas at all. He even showed it off publicly. Then one night at dinner he just collapsed, reportedly poisoned. His invention vanished right after. Back in the 1930s, Raymond Rife built a microscope crazy powerful, strong enough to see live viruses, but that wasn't the wild part. He claimed he made a machine that could kill cancer cells without touching healthy ones. His lab got raided, his work trashed, most of it just disappeared, and these are just the ones we know about.
Petroleum, because they were beginning to make motors and needed on axles of wheels on railroad trains and all that sort of thing. Then oil went from just a lubricant to a fuel, and it made it valuable. And Rockefeller happened to be the smartest man in the business at the time. So in order to get the price up, they hit on the idea that they would have to make it appear to be scarce. Yeah. In 1892, there was a convention in Geneva of scientists to determine what organic substances are. Well, the definition of organic is a substance with hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. Rockefeller took advantage of sending some scientists over who said oil, petroleum, is hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. They defined oil as a residue from formerly living matter. Well, that makes it a fossil fuel. And another thing we should know is that there has never been a fossil, a real fossil, found below 16,000 feet. We mine oil, or we drill for oil, at 30,000, 33,000, 28,000 every day of the week. So right there, we rule it out that it isn't fossil fuel. It's called fossil fuel for the minds of the public to feel that it is an asset that is running out, being depleted. We talk about depletion allowance, which is a lot of, and actually, if you know the world's oil supply, you know that it is not going to run out for an awfully long time. It is the second most prevalent liquid on Earth.
I did radio tomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HARP uses a billion watts, beamed straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we say that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you do this with a billion watts, the vibrations are so violent that the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations could be so severe underground that it could even cause an earthquake.
Is from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. It is the blueprint of a marriage. Did you know the states patented a marriage? Yeah. For all those of thinking about getting married or are married, this is for you. Or those that are divorced, it's still for you. See, the state is the primary in the contract. The state joins with the husband and then enjoins with the wife. There is no direct line connection between the husband and the wife. Enjoins. Enjoins. Joins and enjoins. Enjoins just means second position joinery. Okay? So the state joins with the husband, enjoins with the wife. There is no direct line between the husband and the wife. That is a broken line. Any architect or engineer will tell you that a broken line on a blueprint is a beam that bears no weight. And they put God on that line. So God bears no weight in the contract. When you get married with the state, God bears no weight in the contract. The state is the primary contract holder under the doctrine of parens patriae. And if the husband wants to deal with the wife, they have to go through the state. If the wife wants to deal with the husband, they have to go through the state, and so on. Yeah. Yeah. And they tell you have to get a divorce if you want to separate. When you get a divorce, you're still under contract with the state. So you still have to work through the state. Even if you've been divorced 30 years, you work with the state. They get involved in every aspect of your life between the two of you.
For hours trying to figure out how this thing works. This is definitely a piece of technology. And why this light is amber orange. The eyes. And why there's eyes on it. The third eye. And why there's the sun and the moon. A computer chip or wiring diagram type figure. And why there's 7 of everything. 7's a very interesting number. And watch this. One thing I've noticed is they're finicky. Light comes on, but it doesn't want to every time. And I don't know why. And where's Anubis? He has to be turned this way. How the hell does this thing work? You see down here on the bottom, you can see the contact points. Where does the energy come from? There's copper leads on it. Who the hell had the technology to carve this out of a rock? I don't know why. This is a fucking mystery.
sensitive to this laser's wavelength, yet it still managed to unveil the actual beast at hand. Even without careful focusing, the laser can easily set fire to my fence about 70 meters in the distance. After the fog lifted, I switched back to filming invisible light mode on my camera, which means the laser is back to being invisible the way it is in real life.
I'm not gonna lie, this feels like the kind of thing that they make new laws about. Now I just know you guys are gonna comment on that propane tank, and believe me, every day the urge is there to light that thing on fire. However, it wouldn't exactly be very responsible of me, so I'm gonna light this thing on fire instead. No way.
The laser punched through the steel wall super quickly. However, it wasn't able to provide the flame needed to actually ignite the gas. I decided to give it another try, and was able to briefly ignite it by keeping the laser firing at the leaking tank. I have this fire brick that I melted through earlier from close range. Let's see if I can do it again from 70 meters. I gave the brick a solid 30-second blast from the laser, hoping that the raw power of the beam could make up for the rickety mount that the laser is sitting in.
I can't tell if I melted through it or not. It's melting. It's certainly melting there. I should go check on it.
The laser did in fact make it all the way through the fire brick, melting an impressive portion of it and turning it into glass. Clearly, the laser spot can still reach some extreme temperatures even at this distance.
Alright, that's actually pretty insane, because that is just light. That's wild.
And these are the images. For years, we've been told that the moon is an inactive place, with no movement or relevant activity. But recordings like this are beginning to show something different. What initially seemed like a single object crossing the lunar surface, upon closer inspection reveals something more complex. It's not just one. There are several, small dark silhouettes, moving in line, keeping distance from each other, as if following the same coordinated path. They don't behave like typical space debris. They don't spin uncontrollably or change direction randomly. Their movement is uniform, constant, almost organized. These kinds of patterns rarely appear in public records or official analyses, and when they do, they are simply dismissed without a clear explanation. But when multiple objects cross the moon in this way, it's no longer an isolated anomaly. Some interpret it as orbital debris, others as optical phenomena. However, there are those who believe what's being seen could be something more, a possible fleet moving silently beyond what we are allowed to fully understand.
Thanks for watching MAD1 YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and comment below. New videos dropping soon.